very good afternoon to all of you. I'm here to speak on a topic which has been very close to my heart, that is on intentions in innovations. Well, for me, science would be incomplete if it were to only remain a hope for the future without serving the present, without reaching out to the needy, and without being accessible. So, intentions in innovations for me is the key driving force that forms the basis and foundation of all the scientific breakthroughs that we see. Now it is this intention that we all look for. And how do we find this intention? How do we identify it? Well, in my experience, I think we cannot find it. It finds us. It's a very strange thing that we all need to only be ready for it. We need to be prepared for it, and it finds you. I often look at this particular picture and I say, when Newton saw this apple, he found a formula. When Steve Jobs saw this apple, he found a computer. The point is to ask the right question. And for me, asking the right question is about being prepared. Now, it is always known that the answer appears when the question is complete and ready. And I think IIT is a classic example for that. That the refined question, the better the answer. So it is like when a master appears when the disciple is ready. And it is the same philosophy that follows here. For me, I have learned one beautiful thing, that when you learn, you explore the known, and that is when you discover. And when you unlearn, that is when you explore the unknown, and that's when you innovate. So that's when you actually become a witness to your ideas and not the creator of your idea. Now, often youngsters, aspiring doctors, young students come to ask me, can you tell me where is the scope of work? Where do you think should I be successful? Which branch of medicine should I take up? And I often tell them I don't know. I don't know the answer. Please look into yourself and find out, because it is you who create these opportunities. I often tell them, in the journey of making your career, you flip through some pages of your book, you read a chapter, you read a page, a topic, and it is as though you suddenly instantaneously connect with that topic. It is as though, as we all heard from the previous speakers, that you instantaneously connect with the particular topic and you feel that that's my destiny, that's my life, and that's my future. Now that is the point that I want all of you all to connect with. That it is that particular aspect of scope that you need to discover. Now that is something that I also experienced, that when I went through my journey, often people told me, why not being a radiologist, why not being a plastic surgeon, why oncology? Well, I don't know, I didn't know what it was, but there was something about those chapters when I would flip through those pages that would talk to me. It was as though I met a very old friend and we were having a conversation. And I really don't know how to explain this, but it was so beautiful that I didn't know of anything else. I remember my first year medical school teacher, Dr. Rajendra Humbarwadi, he's an anatomy professor. He would, with me, dissect the voice box nerve. And we both would spend hours together discussing about it. And he would always look at that voice box thing and tell me, Vishal, this is a very unique and mysterious organ. Very strangely does it behave. So the point was that it is you who decides the scope of your work and not the scope of work that decides you. I've always said this, that ambition and purpose, when they come together, it's a very lethal combination. Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, there are innumerable number of examples who are witness and affirm this, that when these two come together, there is something amazing about it. It's a lethal combination. Something within you changes forever. You don't remain the same. And when that happens, if innovations were to be ambitions, then intentions become the purpose. And that's when you actually open up a journey and unveil the path to fail successfully. And that's the beauty of it. When you do that, you actually innovate. And it is at that particular journey that life changes forever. I've often seen this, that it is this particular journey that is always guided by a teacher or a guru. Now it is that guru or that teacher who actually identifies talent in you. It is that guru who identifies talent and also imparts what is called a skill beyond your talent. And it is that teacher who actually brings together ambition and purpose in you. And I'm thankful to my teachers for inspiring me and helping me find the purpose of medicine. And I'm thankful also to God, because I think somewhere God allows U-turns. And that's the beauty of it. So in my case, it was the Satya Sai Super Speciality Hospital at Puttaparthi, where I volunteered at their Cardiac and Neurosciences Center, that had a profound influence on my life. It was perhaps the only center across the globe where I found that there was no billing counter. It is this center where I saw the finest aspect of human service, where doctors, medical staff work together for serving the patient. And it is at this place that I understood that the goal of education is knowledge, and the goal of knowledge should be service. That's the beauty of that place, and that is the one that inspired me to my life in medicine. Today, we are innovating diseases, and that's the truth. We are innovating diseases, and then we are further innovating to cure those man-made diseases. Now that's the paradox of the 21st century. That is, we are promoting poisons, and then we are innovating solutions of new antidotes. Now that's a very funny paradox. For me as a head and neck surgeon, I must tell you all, in oncology, 95% of my head and neck cancers are connected with one word, that is tobacco. And here we are sitting and innovating solutions of multi-billion-dollar research and drugs to find an innovative solution to solve a problem which is already can be solved with a simple problem. I thought that this department of mine should not exist, but it still exists because we are still innovating solutions, forgetting the base problem. So I somewhere felt that healthcare innovation should look beyond technological innovations and look at also innovating for the social determinants of health. And that's an important point. That's where I came up with something that would make things relevant for me. We got the Om voice prosthesis. This was a $1 speaking device that we did for our cancer patients who could not speak after losing their voice to throat cancer. Now, speech and communication in our society not only forms a basic tenet to sustain life force, but also is a right to freedom, it's a right to peace, dignity and justice. These patients were bereft of this particular mode of communication only because they couldn't afford it. And imagine this, I actually had to wonder about this because there was one patient who walked in front of me who hadn't spoken for 16 years. I sat and wondered, here I am, I can't sit quiet for a minute, forget about an hour. And this man kept quiet for 16 years. So that sort of got me thinking into what could we do to actually make a difference to the society in helping these patients, and that's where my co-inventor Shashank, Mahesh and me got together to make this device. There was another philosophy in this that we thought that what a rich aristocrat should get if he were to get this disease, the same thing my poor patient should get. After all, when that universal almighty or God created this particular natural voice box, he never charged us for it. So who are we to sit and give an elaborate charge and say only this particular section will get it and this person won't? And that went behind creating this $1 device, which at HealthCare Global we have initiated our studies for. And that is the power of intention that can do to innovations. We often fear sharing our ideas and innovations. I often come across people who say, I have a brilliant idea, but I cannot share it with you. So what's the point in having stale ideas that you keep it with yourself if you can't share it? Why is there so much of fear to share ideas? Innovations which are not having the passion of intensity of intentions are in the first place itself losing the spirit of innovation. Innovations that have the power of an intention will always make the world look anew each day, beyond conformity, beyond insecurity, beyond fear. And that reminds me of a very beautiful thing which Justice M.N. Venkatachalaya, the ex-Chief Justice of India, my mentor and the Chancellor at the Puttaparthi University, told me when I showed him the voice prosthesis. He told me, Vishal, this concept of development, of looking at GDP alone is not the right way to look at for India. India should look at development not from the limited and inadequate milestones of GDP alone. We should, as India, look at a country, because if you had to only look at this development as a form of GDP alone, then you might as well hand over this country in the form of smugglers and pirates. They will run GDP better than us. If India were to actually run this country, if India were to set a vision for development, we should envision a country that stands to inspire the world, and then, look at development as an expansion of freedom. And for me, that expansion of freedom was the freedom of speech, which is what we did. This is what happens when the ascetic spirit of Jamshedji Tata, when he went on a voyage with the Swami Vivekananda to Chicago from Japan, happens. This is what happens when a Jamshedji Tata meets a Swami Vivekananda. This is what happens when passion meets compassion. This is what happens when ambition meets purpose. And this is what happens when intentions meet innovations. You have an Indian Institute of Science. So, my friends, let's all dare to dream and then wake up and act. I've just got a very small video that we've made at HCG on these.
This is the voice of India.
Sisters and brothers of America, I regard myself as a soldier, though a soldier of peace.
My countrymen in East Asia, while I am in Tokyo, I desire to address a few words to you, and I have no doubt that you will give them due consideration.
Unfortunately, thousands of these strong voices are silenced every day by throat cancer. Not many can afford the treatment they need to get their voice back, and they suffer in silence. It's time we changed that. For the first time in India, there is a voice prosthesis device for the world. OM is a next-generation voice prosthesis device that offers a new lease of life to those who have lost their voice from throat cancer. Because the freedom of speech is every Indian's right.
My voice is my birthright.
My voice is my birthright.